stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, good morning and welcome into another edition of the JP Peterson Show here on a Tuesday. I keep thinking it's Monday. I don't know, I've got my holiday done screwed me up again. We got a great show for you today. Looking forward to talking some college football. Yeah, that's the FSU hat I got on right there.
Hold on,
Peter. Yeah, oh, yeah, give me some of that. Man, oh, man. How about that?
Beautiful.
Yeah, we already got questions coming in. What's up with the Mike Evans rumors? Got some info on that. I'm not very happy to share, but got some very good intel on the Mike Evans deal. So we'll get to all that stuff. We got college football. How about Colorado? Oh my God, what the hell? Listen, I we've been talking about this for weeks. I thought they'd be pretty good. I didn't think they'd be that good. Mm-hmm. I did not think Shedeur Sanders was that good. That was eye-popping. That was eye-popping. And that's got staying power. That's got staying power. We'll get into that. Oh my God, so many storylines from over the weekend in college football. The Rays, boy, they are on a just an absolute horrible tear right now and losing games late. They did it again yesterday. Aaron Savali mowing people down, and then 98 pitches gets taken out for Davinsky, who gives up a 3-run bomb to Casas, and they lose again. And so that's 3 of their last 4 games they could have won, should have won, probably blow the lead, and now we sit 3.5 games behind the Orioles. That, by the way, is the season high. That is the season high. As I thought, as the month went on, with them having a tougher schedule, the Rays had a chance to creep up. Well, now 3.5, that's a lot. It's a lot. Now that series coming up. Was it next week with the Orioles or in a couple of weeks? That's going to decide it may not actually. Their lead may be too big, but we shall see. So we'll talk some Rays as well. We got lots of Bucs to get into. Dave Canales spoke yesterday. We'll play you some of that sound. We'll hear from Kevin Cash. Corey Long's going to join us from Walter Football at 10:30. Always great to chat with him about all things college football in the state of Florida. Very plugged in there. Greg Auman, who covers the Bucs and the NFC South, will join us at 11 o'clock from The Athletic. And then TJ Pittenger from the Double Fries No Slop FSU podcast will join us at 11:15. So, and your comments and questions, please bring them on Facebook, on Twitter, wherever you're going to enjoy the show. And let's get after it. So I want to dive right into, first of all, the Mike Evans rumors that are going around. At first I thought a lot of this was just hogwash, that the Bucs were going to get this done. And I wasn't a big believer in the fact that the Glazers were the ones holding up this deal, but spoke with some folks over the weekend, and that is kind of the intel that I'm getting. And that is surprising on many levels, to be quite honest with you. They have been such tremendous owners, and I know they trust Jason Light implicitly. And I think Jason Light wants to get this deal done for many, many reasons. As we spoke on Friday, I definitely have reservations of paying Mike Evans $30 million a year for the next 4 years. Now, I would do something in the, 3 years, $70 million range. I think that's fair, but I would also tell you in my heart of hearts, that's probably a year or two more than I want to go. So I think this is, you look it up, receivers after the age of 30 they don't increase their production. It's very, very rare. Do I think Mike Evans will have a better year this year than he had last year? Yes, I do. But he's getting paid for this year. Moving forward after this year, I mean, and when I say 3 years, I'm including this year. So when he gets to 34, 35 years old, guaranteeing him $30 million or $25 million is not good business. As much as sentimental as I want to be about Mike Evans, it is not good business. The bottom line is you can go get a player in the draft with a high draft pick that's going to be a lot cheaper. Is he going to be Mike Evans? Nope, he ain't. Chances are he's not going to be, but he's also going to be about, $1.2 million on your cap, not 25, 30 million. It's a big deal. That's a lot of other good players you can put on it. And it's a salary cap league. It's not who's your best receiver. It's who's got the best roster and coaches it up the best. Those are the teams that win. So this is this happens to every franchise in football. You've seen it all over with Saquon and it's just some of the big stars in this league. You're looking at Chris Jones in Kansas City. That very well could cost them another Super Bowl championship. And who's here to say Chris Jones shouldn't get paid? Everybody. But how much and for how long? It's a salary cap league. The players' personal interests are diametrically opposed to the team's interest in a salary cap league. And I get it, but it's the way it works. And it sucks when you're in these positions. I heard Chris Ballard in Indianapolis talking about it the other day, and it's like, yeah, this sucks. It sucks for us. It sucks for the fans. It sucks for Jonathan Taylor. It sucks for everybody. But that's the business that is the NFL and its salary cap. So, do I know what's going to happen to Mike Evans? No, I don't. Right. I don't. I'm pretty sure he's going to play this year. Nobody wants to make a trade at this point. As rosters are set, resources are spent. There's really no way. It's very difficult to do. And I'm guessing Mike Evans is going to play this season without a contract. And then we'll move on from there. And it sucks. And it sucks for Mike, who's been a tremendous soldier. He's done everything he's been asked and then some. But it's just the business, man. It sucks. It just sucks.
It absolutely does suck. And here's the thing. At the end of the day, you wonder if it's going to be a distraction for this season. And Mike has been a consummate professional about this and throughout his career. So he hasn't had this stuff kind of affect his play on the field. And that's what everybody's concerned about with the new offense, with him, most likely going to be more involved because you hear,
yes,
the, different routes and stuff like that. So you hope it could get done before then, but it looks like it's not going to be done. And if it's not going to be done, then, at the end of the day, you're going to take your chances at the end of the year, either going to franchise him, you're going to move on from him. And if you're out of it, it becomes a possibility that possibly could you trade him during the season if you're out of it. This team is too good for that. I don't think that's going to happen, but you just kind of wonder, going back to it, is it going to be a distraction going forward?
I don't think so. He's just not that type of person,
Yeah.
And he also knows that if he lets it be a distraction and he has a subpar season, who's going to sign him? It basically becomes a contract year where he has to go prove that he's still healthy and still in his prime or close to it. And that's, he has no choice. That's the way it works. So, and I do think he is the consummate professional. He will do that. Because I think if he tails off and has a bad year, nobody's going to be offering him the big money that he could. If he has a big year, I think maybe the Bucs offer him some big money. There'll be another team that will. But if he goes out there and the 1,000-yard season streak is busted, that's not good. And I know people are like trade. What are you gonna get for him? Somebody's got to have his cap hit is $23 million.
Yeah,
23.9. Nobody laying around with 23.9 in cap money here. So you trade him, you got to trade the contract. I just don't see, unless I'm completely wrong on that. I guess the Bucs could eat some of it or a portion of it, but I don't know why you'd want to do that. I don't know. I don't see it as an easy trade to do. And if you're going to have the money, they've got to pay the money anyway.
Sure.
Why not have them on your team? I think this team really feels like they can move forward, and hopefully they can get a deal done. I mean, we're still a few days away from the September 9th deadline, and nothing really happens until deadlines get close. So we'll just leave it at that. All right. let's talk some Florida State football. Man, what a game on Sunday night. We went to big tailgate party. It was fantastic. All the Noles were there. The Noles showed out, as Brian Kelly said many times on the broadcast. It's a partisan crowd. Yeah, that was not a neutral field. And you know what? Seminole Nation showed up big time in New Orleans last year. I would say it was probably 60-40 LSU, but that 40 was loud and really and into the game, and I think it really helped FSU in that game. And I think it was probably 80-20 on Sunday night. I mean, it was Seminole Nation came out big time. They had, the fire is lit on the spear. It is people. I mean, you see, and you're going to see, the bandwagon fans now going to start putting I got to go get a sticker for a car now. We're good again. So you'll see the jerseys coming out. But Seminole Nation is on fire, and why not? Listen, this is exactly what I expected. Exactly. I said FSU was going to win the game. I said they dominated them last year. They should have won by a bigger margin. Peter Burns and all these SEC honks were like, oh, Mike Norvell can't coach with Brian Kelly. The FSU's overrated, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's see if you can stop this offense. Well, you know what? They couldn't. FSU, the only time they were stopped is when they stopped themselves. And the second half, the defense started to play a little bit. I thought they were more physical than LSU in the trenches. I thought they were the faster team. I thought they were the team in better shape. I think Brian Kelly's comments after the game were disrespectful to FSU and disrespectful to his team. I don't know about you, man, and maybe we'll be able to play a little bit of that. But he was like, "It's a complete failure. My team didn't fight." And then the old passive aggressive. It's up to me to get him ready. But he just threw his team under the bus. I thought that was. I don't think that's going to play very well in Baton Rouge.
Wasn't he the one that said in the first place that he was going to kick the butt of
that's FSU, right.
All this other stuff, all this trash talk, and how they were the top team in the SEC? Not so much. Not so much after all.
Yeah. Didn't quite happen that way. And by the way, North Carolina put it on South Carolina pretty damn good. Good weekend for the ACC. Good start for the ACC. Their other contender is not Clemson, it's Duke. Holy shiz, is Clemson bad? Well, Duke might be pretty good. Duke might be pretty damn good. Riley Leonard, their quarterback, is he may not be the greatest thrower in the world, but that guy can scoot and he can play. He's a tough son of a bitch. Duke was good. I don't know if Duke's that good or Clemson's that bad. I mean, their offense has been really, really bad. And now you start looking at Dabo Swinney and go, outside of Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence, two generational talents, you haven't done much. I mean, he's done a little bit, but outside of those two guys, not much. Not much, Dabo. I mean, so Clemson, I mean, now if you're an FSU fan, you thought, okay, those, at Clemson, that's going to be a tough one. I mean, you don't want to do too much overreaction in week one, right? But Clemson looked like crap last night. They looked terrible. Their quarterback, Klubnik, is not good, does not handle the ball well at all. Best thing I saw him do last night was run down a guy who scooped up a fumble. So they still have quarterback issues. They're certainly not as good in the trenches as they've been. That was a sloppy game by Clemson. Clemson was Clemsoning like they used to do. And that was bad. So if you're FSU right now, I'm looking at this schedule going, if you don't go 12-0, it's going to be disappointment. I mean, is that cocky? Is that too much?
No, not at all. You see the talent the other night? I mean, did you see Keon Coleman? Did you see Johnny Wilson when he's catching the ball, not dropping easy passes? I mean, look, FSU was down in that game early, but what was the difference? The difference was the coaching, the adjustments in the second half to run the ball and take the pressure off of Jordan Travis, who was very fortunate early on in that game because his decisions. He threw one up there that was lucky to not be, pick sixth.
Yeah, Jordan made a couple of bad decisions in the first half. I was a little surprised by that, to be honest with you. And that just goes to show you, and listen, LSU didn't play their best game either. But I think the mistakes kind of evened out, and Florida State won by what, 21? I mean, that's yeah. By the way, nice to have the over and FSU in that game. Ching, ching. Thank you. We gave that to you last week. So if you didn't catch that, that's your own fault. We gave you that one.
Harry the Greek said, play the money line. He was right.
I did. I did play the money line. Played the money line FSU, and then played the over. I think he had the under, didn't he? On that, I'm not sure, but
no, he had the under. I think he had the over on the Florida game. He had the money line on the Florida State game.
That's right. So yeah, money line crushed it.
Yes.
So yeah, this was a tremendous performance. Keon Coleman, we told you about him.
Yeah,
Keon Coleman is a dog. He is a dog. See, he's a difference maker, big time difference maker. Johnny Wilson, as you mentioned, and Jaheim Bell. How about that cat? The way he blocks and catches and the speed. What a weapon he is. What a weapon he is. And Teofili from our man there in Largo had a fantastic game. He was tremendous. Trey Benson was tremendous. The offensive line, I thought at times it was, had a few bad moments, but for the most part, they ran the football when they needed to run the football. Defensively, obviously, look, Jaden Daniels he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He just is in college football. He's fantastic. And, you hold them to 24 points and go on a 31-0 run. I don't have I'm not going to have a huge problem with the defense. You're going to give up points to good teams. That's happened. You hold them to 24, you'll be fine at FSU. You hold an offense that explosive to 24 points, you're doing good. So I just thought as good a performance as you could possibly want from Florida State on so many levels. And now, I would have to say after the first week, I don't know anything about Alabama, with who they played. I don't know anything about Georgia yet with who they played. So they're good. They're good football teams. But I think FSU is as good as anybody. Which brings us to Colorado.
Wow.
Holy shiz. Wow. Wow. Listen, I said, I said the 21-point underdog. I said that's stupid. That was the easiest bet. And then Florida State money line maybe, but that was the easiest bet of the week. I'll listen. I thought they would be good, but I didn't think they would be that good. Shedeur Sanders is as accurate a thrower, and he runs that offense. He's been running that offense for a while. He knows it like the back of his hand. He's really, really good. He made every right decision. Made every right throw. Hell, he had 3 deep balls that he dropped right in the basket. Travis Hunter dropped one. Xavier Weaver dropped one. By the way, USF fans, how's that feel watching Jimmy Horn and Xavier Weaver run around catching 100 yards and balls and doing their thing with Shedeur Sanders? They should have found the money for that guy. Anyway, I mean, that was an unbelievable performance. And anybody doesn't think that's for real, you're wrong. And by the way, Colorado is a 3.5-point favorite, a 3-point favorite. I got it at 3 points this morning. I didn't even wait because that line's probably going to be up to 7 by the end of the week. How the hell Colorado at home is a 3-point favorite over Nebraska that just lost to Minnesota? And are you kidding me? You still don't believe? Okay. I mean, listen, I know what Deion said about FSU last week. Like he disavowed any. Am I happy about that? No, I'm not happy about that. Am I happy about the way he's gone about his business in a lot of ways? Listen, I'm not hating on the dude. Everybody, and I'm going to say this, and I love Lee Corso. I've loved him forever. But if you saw College Game Day this week and saw what he said about Deion, and I understand, a lot of people, old school guys don't like, but that came off really bad and really weird. He was like, listen, I came into Indiana. I didn't lose one player. I went to the next school. I forget what it was. He goes, I didn't lose one player. And we won. We went to the first bowl game. And I'm like, bro, I love you, Lee. That was 7,000 years ago. Before the portal, before NIL, before anything. Deion Sanders blew up college football this weekend. I don't think it can be understated. Or overstated, I should say. I don't think it can be overstated. And now the expectations are this. You could take a shiz program like Colorado, and it has been straight shiz forever, for a long, long time, and bring in a charismatic coach like Deion Sanders who brings in NIL. Now, listen, there ain't many Deons around. I mean, I will say this. There's not many Deons around. just because he's a famous former player, but the charisma that guy brings, the work ethic he brings, everything that he brings, you can hate on Dion all you want, but you got to give him his props. You got to give him his props. He had that team ready to go. If you saw the pregame speech, you were like, damn, the dude's so charismatic. He's going to attract the best roster in college football by the time he's done. Guys want to play for him. And if you got the Jimmies and Joes, you don't need a whole lot of X's and O's. And I got news for you. He's got X's and O's too. He's got good coordinators. They know how to play football in Colorado, and they got 4 and 5 stars running everywhere. So how in the hell are they a 3-point favorite against Nebraska at home in the home opener in Colorado? You want to make some money? Jump on it. You can hate on Dion all you want, but what he just did was change college football forever.
Well, he really has. And you look at Travis Hunter, two-way football.
Wow.
How many plays was it?
129.
129 plays he's playing at corner and wide receiver. And that's the reason why a lot of Florida State fans were, in their feelings when he basically decided to go to Jackson State. I mean, that's how talented he is. I think probably the biggest weakness is most likely the defense. They got to build that up. But offensively, Sanders at the quarterback helm, 510 yards. You got Hunter on both sides of the ball. And that kid who's a running back, he's a freshman. He had a fumble early on in that game and then took it to the house. I mean, he's explosive.
Yeah, they've got tons of good players out there on the offensive side, skilled players. I mean, you listen, in that offense, you're going to get tons of one-on-ones, and Shedeur can pick them out, and he finds them. And I'm here to tell you, Xavier Weaver is a damn good receiver, USF fans, as you well know. Jimmy Horn Jr. is a damn good receiver. Travis Hunter is a damn good receiver. Was Edwards, the little back guy? Oh, my God, that guy's another playmaker. And their offensive line, look, TCU got no heat on Shedeur at all. I don't know what the hell they were doing. So once, you play some of the big boys that have some legit outside Jared Verse type of rushers, it's going to be a little bit of a different story, but they'll make adjustments too. They're good. They're good. Jump on Colorado if you want some easy money this week, folks. I think they're for real. And
I think the great thing about it is when Edwards fumbles, you can see Coach Prime, because you got to be careful, or JP doesn't what he called Dion or Coach Dion. Coach Prime, he takes him aside, coaches him up, and then he never loses faith in him. He's giving him the ball as much as he can. Now, to change subject here, I don't know if you saw this or not. This is from Josina Anderson. I'm told over the course of talks between both sides, the Bucs received a contract structure that's acceptable to Mike Evans and takes Tampa Bay's consideration into account as well, per a source. So that's the latest right there. Josina Anderson.
All right, so say that again. Report that again.
All right, let me see here. Let me go back to it. According to Josina Anderson, I'm told over the course of the talks between both sides, the Bucs received a contract structure that's acceptable to Mike Evans and takes Tampa's consideration into account as well. So it appears a deal is done. Well, it looks like it could be close.
Good. That's fantastic. That's the best news of the month.
I mean, and how can you doubt it, right? I mean, there's a lot of talk, but how can you doubt? And I think the biggest doubt here was ownership being brought into it, and it feels like that was more of a tactic by the agent for Mike Evans, for his client, because they never mention, Jason Light, they never mention, Greenberg at all. But you have to have faith that they're going to get it done. And again, this is from Josina Anderson.
Yeah, I'm looking up. I'm trying to find it right now. Oh, look, she's a reliable source.
Yeah,
she's got really good sourcing, so I don't doubt the reporting at all. Again, we kind of thought that something was going to get done as the deadline got closer, right? Nothing happens until real deadlines happen. So
right,
all right, that's good. That's fantastic news. That's fantastic. I was hoping that it would get done. Now it's definitely not going to be a distraction, because that really, that was only one things that I thought would really could derail this team is having some issue with Mike Evans. But now with Mike on board I think Baker's going to have a great year. I just went on my future props yesterday and plopped down some money on Evans. I like him over his yardage total, which was in the low night, like 929. Godwin's like 855, his yardage total. I love the over on that one as well. Anything with Baker Mayfield, take the over on him. I think they're going to have a good year. If all those guys stay healthy, I think they'll have a good year. That's the thing about the over bets, though. If one injury can derail the whole damn thing. So hopefully that comes through. All right, good to know.
Yeah.
Peter report saying Donald Vesey coming on and saying Peter report says no truth to the report. Oh, okay. All right.
So we're going to go back and forth on this. Yeah, we're going to see because there's various reports out there. But like you said,
right, I'll hit up some of my contacts during the show, and we'll see what we can get. All right. What else do we want to hit here? We're going to get into the Rays big time here and do some more college football as well. Buccaneers not practicing today. Practice yesterday. Looks like Kalijah Cansey might be a go this week, which is good. We'll find out more from Todd Bowles tomorrow when they start practicing again. Dave Canales, we'll hear from him a little bit later on in the show. Let's hit the Rays here real quick since we're going to go all football. I'll be honest with you, kid. I was all on football all this weekend. You got your Rays shirt on. I watched the game yesterday and Savali just mowing them down. They got a 3-1 lead. He's up to 98 pitches, and here comes the hook.
Yeah,
you knew it was. Davinsky comes in and gives up a 3-run bomb. They give up another. I forget who gave up the other bomb. 2 home runs from the Red Sox. The Red Sox are playing good baseball, man. They're playing really, really good baseball, and they took it to the Rays yesterday. It's a 7-3 loss. Not good. Not good.
Yep, not good. And you lose 2 out of 3 to the Cleveland Guardians in heartbreaking fashion, where you could basically win both of those games, and you come back to win both of those games, and once again your bullpen blows it. I mean, that's going to be the big key. I mean, can Fairbanks, who we know sometimes is lights out, but we also know he has those type of outings versus the Guardians, maybe not the other night, but walking people, wild pitches, stuff like that. I mean, that's going to be I think the Achilles heel for this team. As crazy as it sounds, because of the starting pitching and all their injuries, it's going to be the bullpen. Can they get it done?
Now Jason Adam is out as well. Oblique strain for Jason Adam, who was really your 8th inning guy, right? He was your setup guy to Fairbanks. So that's a huge, huge hit. Now, of course, the Orioles lost Batista as well. That's a big C. I thought that would, be a big hit on them, but they just keep freaking winning.
Yep.
They keep it, but they're going to get
matter. They continue to win.
But their bullpen's going to get a little worn down too now without the back end guy there. So, we'll see. There's still what do we got? 24 games left in the season.
Wow.
But it doesn't. You just can't lose games like this in September.
Right.
You got a chance to lock them up, and we'll hear from Kevin Cash too as to the hook that he gave. But I don't think it's any different than normal. 98 pitches. Hell, he took Zavala after what, 69 last game?
Yeah.
69 pitches?
69. Yeah, it's not good. It taxes your bullpen. I get it. I understand you want to save your starters, but at the end of the day, if your bullpen is one of your weak spots, and then eventually your bullpen gives up the lead, it's not going to help you out. And you're going to look back at Friday and Saturday's game and go, what if? Those are the games that you could have gained on the Orioles, and instead you lost them. And, and on top of it, the umpiring on Saturday night was completely and totally atrocious. I mean, CM Buckner is just CB Buckner. CB Buckner is one of the worst in the league. With the strike zone, he's ridiculous.
He's a clown.
Yeah.
That was not good.
No.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Corey Long's going to join us from Walter Football. He's got great takes on all things state of Florida college football. Always fun to chat with him. So we'll hit the Gators, we'll hit the Noles, we'll hit the Hurricanes, all of them, maybe even a little UCF, and we'll talk Colorado when we come back with Corey Long. Stay with us. stuffy, overpriced sports bars. Well, come join the fun at the Patio in South Tampa and watch your favorite football teams under the stars in a tropical paradise. Yeah, it's a unique setting with huge wood decks beneath the trees, and don't worry, they have an inside AC bar with all your favorite bar games as well. The Patio has all the NFL and UFC sports packages, and it's home to the Tampa Gator Club and Bills Mafia, but all fans are welcome at any time. Hey, my FSU buddies love to watch the Noles at the Patio. It's also home to a great happy hour. Weekdays get $4 White Claw vodka drinks and $4 White Claw seltzers, $1 off all beer and wine from 3 to 7:30. And every Friday happy hour, join us for Football Friday. It's our live broadcast from 5 to 7 with tons of specials and the fan mic for you to join the show. We'll have swag and ticket giveaways as well. So come out for the live broadcast 5 to 7 every Friday at the Patio and come watch football in a tropical paradise all season long. It's 421 South McDill, just a few blocks south of Kennedy. Everyone meets at the Patio.
Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show as we roll on today, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Get that personal attention you so richly deserve. If you've been involved in an accident, have an insurance claim for your home from the hurricane, definitely have the Jeeves Law Group represent you. You'll get a much better settlement. So just reach out to them through the website, JEEVES lawgroup.com. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Corey Long from Walter Football. Also covers your Tampa Bay Lightning, but he is a football expert, especially when it comes to college. What's up, partner? How are you?
We are still trying to get him on.
Oh,
here.
we are? Okay.
Yes, right. Yes, we were trying to get him on right now, so stand by.
All right, well, once we get him aboard, we'll let
Yes.
you know. Couple other notes from our I have not gotten any text back on the Josina Anderson post. But as Jeremy Lowe says, Josina is pretty on point in her reports. So we will see, but so is Pure Report. So we shall see the and again, a lot of these things leak out from the agents, and maybe the Buccaneers may not be the ones that are going to necessarily confirm this right away. Maybe there's still a lot of details that has to work out. But as Josina reported, I guess I got the exact wording. A framework has been agreed upon. And again, this is, I did talk to someone over the weekend that said, yeah, the ownership was unhappy with the proposed contract that was out there, and they were not going to sign off on it, which I thought was a very dubious report, knowing how much I know the Glazers trust. They trust Jason Light, and I know Jason wants to get the deal done. But it's risky business as we've detailed, and the owners have to look out for the long term of this franchise, and they're the last. They're the ones that have to sign off on it. So maybe it was maybe a little bit of coercing needed to be done to get that done. But we shall see. We shall see as the day goes along. We'll see if we can get something done. I can't see Mike Evans not being a Buccaneer. But then again, listen, this is a weird time for contracts. It's not just the Buccaneers. The salary cap is going up, and we all know how much it's going up. It's going to be close to $400 million in the next. It's going to basically double in size in about 5 to 8 years as the money goes up. The TV money goes up with the new deal. So I don't know exactly the time frame, but it's going to get a hell of a lot bigger. So, $20 million contracts are going to be $40 million contracts, right? So we're going to go through this time of adjustment where it's going to sound a lot more than it used to be. And guess what, folks? There's inflation in football too. Yesterday's price is not today's price. The price has changed. So some of these deals are going to sound a little weird, I think, the ownership and some other places, but that's the price of doing business in the NFL. The teams are making more money. The players are going to make more money. That's all there is to it. And listen, nobody is going to sit here and argue that Mike Evans doesn't, quote, deserve it. But again, you can't be paying him for work that's already been done. As much as we'd like to do that, that's bad business in football. How are we doing there, Peter? Any
we got him.
Corey?
Yep, we got him on there.
All right. What's up, my friend Corey Long? How are you? Is he there?
Yeah, he's here. Are you there, Corey?
Can you hear me?
Stand by.
Standing by.
Yes, let me see what I can do here. Stand by.
And we're doing looking at the comments here. A lot of you not very happy with Kevin Cash. Look, we can't be selective. We can't be pounding him on the back when he takes a guy out and it works. But when it doesn't work, you can get pissed off at it. But I don't think you can say he's not a good manager, right? He's the best in the business. All right, now do we have Corey?
Yes,
you there, Corey?
I'm on. Corey, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, all right. What's up, partner? How are you?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I watched a lot of football this weekend, man, and I loved it. Man, so much good college football. I got to consume it all so I can get a feel for what's happening. I know I don't want to get too excited after week one. It's the worst probably judge, right? You get too hyped or too down. But, man, what I saw from my boys in Orlando there where they're undefeated, not too shabby. Your thoughts on FSU?
Yeah, I thought they were just, they were tremendous in the second half. I mean, first half was a little shaky. I thought LSU actually played a really good first half, but I think the problem, when you get two red zone possessions, you don't score. Those things are going to come back to bite you more times than not, and it's interesting. It's one of the things that I always say, when I look, I say, these guys, they're so into analytics, but they really don't understand basic ass math. It was just, early in the game, I just believe taking points. It's like, there's times when you go for things on fourth down and not, but you get down to the inside the 5-yard line. Sometimes you gotta just tip your cap to the other team and say, okay, you stopped us on 3 downs. Let's kick a field goal and, we'll regroup. But the idea is that, LSU played a good first half. FSU, had some penalties early, some kind of knucklehead penalties. And, Travis had a couple of shaky moments and only down by 3.
Right.
And you started to think, well, only down by 3. Well, good grief. And as the game went on, it was clear, they definitely were going to, they definitely going to have something in the down the field with the passing game. Keon Coleman, who we all guys we knew what he was capable of. He's a big time player.
But that was special.
Yeah, that was about, to get to go 122 and 3 touchdowns in your first game. That's pretty. That's pretty terrific. And he's a great player. He was tremendous at Michigan State, and he's going to be tremendous in this offense. And, he's a top end wide receiving talent. Johnny Wilson is a tall player. At times he can be pretty good. But you look at Keon Coleman, you see a real NFL, a first round type NFL wide receiver. That's what those guys look like.
From what you saw with Jordan Travis the other night, do you still consider him a Heisman Trophy finalist or candidate because of the 4 touchdowns? Some questionable decisions there, but still 4 touchdowns is able to overcome it. How do you see his Heisman candidacy?
Yeah, I think he's still there. Yeah, I mean it's week 1. There's a bunch of guys there. I mean he wasn't the best quarterback I saw all weekend. The best quarterback I saw all weekend was Tampa's own Michael Penix. To be honest with you, I had to talk about a person I thought would have really really showed me everything. But I thought he had a good. He was very good in the second half. In the first half, he had a horrible pick and really would have had a terrible second pick.
Yes.
But
Whoa.
he's kind of, you could tell that I could tell a couple of, there were 2 things I took away from that game on both sides is that he's definitely trying to be more, he's definitely not trying to run as much. There were times when I thought he could have run. He didn't run. I think he's trying to make his runs count a little bit more.
Yeah.
He's trying to figure out how to get things in the passing game. And I just didn't know what LSU was doing defensively. I couldn't understand it. I'm like, you got a player like Harold Perkins, who's a super twitchy guy on the edge, and they took him out of the game themselves. It's like that's a guy that you look at him like, all right, we got to make sure that guy doesn't get us on defense. And LSU's like, but don't worry about that. We'll just take him out of the game for you. We're going to stand 7 yards off the line of scrimmage and stare at Jordan Travis all game. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm sitting here like, why are they not rushing this guy? Like, but because they're obviously afraid of the scrambling. But I like if I got a guy off the edge that can come that can get after a quarterback. You take the risk there. Like,
yeah.
One thing if you're not doing anything is that, that's definitely not helping you at all. If you go out there and rush the passer. I mean, Jaden Daniels is a very good runner and had a couple of nice big runs, but
big time.
You didn't see FSU using Jared Verse to spy on him. You're like, no, get off the edge and rush him and try to collapse the pocket and get some sacks.
100%. Corey Long joining us here. And I thought FSU's defense played pretty well in the second half. That Brandon Fisk is a monster inside. I just that front 7 of FSU's is pretty damn good. And we saw Cyphers, the Virginia transfer, looked pretty good. The defense, I thought, played pretty well. You hold LSU to 24 points, you're doing something. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when the touchdown late was kind of a late touchdown, a lot of wide receivers were open. If LSU executes a few things better in the passing game, I don't know that we're as happy with the defense as we
I agree.
were, especially in that third quarter. You missed I think they missed the big kid that caught the touchdown late. They missed him on an open route that the safety looked off, and I think Lacey had a catch and run that might have been a touchdown that he dropped. So, and there were just times when I thought receivers were just a little too open. But the weird thing is with their defense, it's that's kind of what they are. They'll give you a lot of yards. They try to stiffen up, and this week it definitely worked because teams were not able to run on them. I mean, like the one thing last year is they struggled in the running and in run defense, and they were pretty tight in run defense. I thought their run defense was very solid.
Yeah, very good.
And I mean, passing defense, you see the schedule. You're not going to face a lot of teams with the sort of receivers that LSU has or the quarterback play. I mean, it's not a hard schedule. I'm not knocking the schedule. The schedule is what it is. Everyone's got a schedule. It's just, I mean, it's not that they played LSU, they played Florida, so it's not like they were avoiding tough games necessarily.
Not a bad non-conference right there.
Yeah.
Not as bad as Michigan's. And Georgia's
schedule. Yeah. Even with the conference schedule, they don't play North Carolina, they don't play NC State, they don't play Louisville, so they don't play some of the teams that you kind of think are tricky teams. Those teams are, oh God, this is a team you got to prepare for. No, they get Clemson, and then they get Clemson. I I think, I saw Miami. I thought Miami was going to trend upward a little bit this year, and I still feel that way. So, down the road, that's a game that you look at and say, we'll see where everybody is. But, I had such a great
not so much
the first week.
Listen, I get it's one game, but everybody keeps on saying it. Is Florida State back, in your opinion, after this one win over LSU? Or is it too soon?
I mean, you got to think they've won. That's now 7 straight. They've won 11 of their past 14. The schedule is one where if as long as they're focused, I mean, they can. You can easily look at 11, 12 wins. I mean, it's not. They're going to be favored in every single game, probably including the Clemson game at this point.
Yeah.
I can't see why they wouldn't be. I mean, that's 3 weeks away, and I think Clemson's going to be a better team in 3 weeks than they were last night. I don't think they're going to keep fumbling the ball inside the red zone.
God,
at the same time, you can now see the effects of Dabo refusing to work the transfer portal. How he just doesn't he doesn't have the depth. He doesn't have the age depth. He doesn't have really experienced guys like in FSU. The one thing I said was like, no freshman did much of anything last night because they're a super experienced team at every position. They've got years of experience on that team at nearly every position. So the few freshmen that I think could play just weren't going to be able to play this year, at least not right now, because they've got a lot of experience on that team. And that's, you can recruit well, but if you're still putting up 18-year-olds against 21-year-olds, you're still coming at a disadvantage.
Yeah, no question. And outside of Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence, 2 generational talents, how's Dabo done?
Yeah. I mean, I thought they've had some great defenses there. I thought they've had some great line recruiting over the years, and some pretty good receivers. And they've had good teams. They really have. I mean, you can't win 2 titles and play for 3 titles in a 4-year span without having some great teams.
No, he's had some great teams, no question about it.
But when Trevor, and you felt it. When they lost to Ohio State in that 2020 playoff and they got, Justin Fields threw for 7 or 8 touchdown passes against them, you could start to even see it then that, that defensive recruiting isn't what it used to be. Brent Venables wasn't getting those kids, and now he's gone. And, Tony Elliott's gone. And I know they've brought back Jeff Scott in some sort of like a consultant's role, and he was very good at that program, but it still takes a while for whatever magic he used to have to rebuild, to come back again. So that's a program that's got to do some soul searching. Dabo's got to do some soul searching.
Yeah.
I understand his stance. The one thing about Dabo I can say is that he said he wasn't going to use a portal. He really hadn't used it. He also doesn't process kids. He doesn't do a lot of things that other top programs do, and some of that I can appreciate is the fact that, if he recruits you and he feels and the kid can't, isn't up to snuff, as long as they go to practice and get, class, he keeps them
around. Right. No.
I can respect that. I can respect that level. That loyalty doesn't exist anywhere else.
Yeah, it's true. That's the hard part of college football. It's that and before we move off on the FSU thing, I just got to have this one quick question. Were you put off a little bit by Brian Kelly's comments about his team? I thought it was passive aggressive. We weren't tough enough. We didn't compete. Complete total failure. Like, I didn't see him giving a whole lot of credit to FSU. I don't know. It kind of hit me wrong. Your thoughts?
I don't. It's. I look at it like the comments are done 5 minutes after you got your ass kicked. You're not really sure what I get it.
I don't know if that's going to play very well in Baton Rouge. He didn't do it with a Cajun accent, so.
The fact that I think he took a lot of it on his shoulders, on his coaching staff shoulders. I guess sometimes it's a protection because they had a rough night. Those kids, that second half was tough, and they did not look good, and they like they lost a lot of confidence. And
I think Florida State hit them in the mouth. I think they played really, really physical football, and there were some bad penalties early on. I thought the officials were terrible. They were aggressive penalties, and FSU kind of took them and then stopped them on 4th down. All right, we got to talk about Colorado.
Absolutely.
Shedeur really, really impressed me. He knows that offense really, really well. I mean, it is like clockwork, and he's super accurate. He can throw on the move. I'm not sure he's not the best quarterback I saw this weekend. I mean, yes, Michael Penix. I was watching Penix, dude. It seemed like every time he dropped back, he threw it deep. Like every freaking ball was just bombs away, man. He ain't checking down for shit. It's like, here we go. But Shador was a little bit more varied in his selection of passes.
Yeah, and it was a tremendous offensive performance and a tremendous effort performance by that team. I wasn't surprised that they came out and played hard. So many professionals, guys I know, some of the guys I consider friends in the industry, I've gotten so caught up in their feelings personally that they just don't have they just couldn't be close to being objective about the talent that they
it's hard for me, given what Dion said last week, but I got to give the man his props. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I consider, some guys, I'm hearing the roster is as bad as UMass's, and I'm like,
what?
I watched UMass. They don't have Travis Hunter anywhere near on the roster. Even if you thought everybody else in Colorado sucked, Travis Hunter is clearly a top 15 player he's only a sophomore, so he's got 2 years, but it's clearly a high level talent. Probably going to be the first cornerback taken to the draft in a couple of years.
Yeah.
So you look at that, but I don't want to go overboard in Colorado. I think that they should be. I think he's got a good enough staff, and I think Dion has enough experience in football life to get the kids back down to earth this week so they can play Nebraska. And I think that they're a better team than Nebraska because I happened to painfully watch on that Nebraska-Minnesota.
Yeah, that's all. They're awful. And Colorado's a 3-point favorite at home. Are you freaking kidding me?
And the tickets for that game I already looked on StubHub. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, they're excited. They're really pumped up there.
What are they going for?
A lot. They're going for even the cheap stuff is going for well in the triple digits. For a game against Nebraska. A team that's won a team that hasn't won squat in 5 years.
Matt Rule there with the coaching.
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest thing that could hold Colorado back, in your opinion?
This year, just this D-line. Their D-line is thin. It's not very big. They don't have any depth. I mean, their attrition. They should be able to get through the first 3 games. Like Nebraska, I think they're better than Colorado State. They've obviously got a talent advantage. Once you get to Oregon's big and physical. You get to USC, that offensive line is massive. Washington. So I look at it and I say they can start 3-0. They can probably beat both of the Arizona schools. I think they can get Stanford. And that gets you to 6 wins. And just getting that team was not a one. They were a bad 1-11 team last year. They weren't even like a competitive.
But it's irrelevant what they did last year. Everybody's gone. It's not even.
Everybody's gone.
The only thing that's the same is the uniforms, and they're not really that similar either. I mean,
you still got that 1-11 stink, though.
It doesn't matter.
Stink.
It's irrelevant. They're literally 10 guys left and 1 starter. It's completely irrelevant. They kept saying that. Well, Colorado last year Colorado was this, and they were who gives a shit? There's nobody left from that team, man. It's not Colorado.
6 new players.
It's more like Jackson State than it is Colorado. Go look at their numbers. I mean, what are we doing here? It's ridiculous.
Very good point.
Hey, what'd you think about the Gators on Thursday night? I think people are losing their mind over Billy Napier. Just calm down. He's not Willie Taggart, for God's sakes. Willie Taggart never had the second best recruiting class in America, which Napier still does. You got to win enough games to keep the class together. Other than that, watch your young players grow. They made a lot of stupid mistakes. Calm down, Gator fans. That's my take.
My take is they really should have put the money out and gotten Michael Pratt from Tulane, which was always a kid that I heard was linked to them, and I don't think that they were able to get it done financially. And when I saw Graham Mertz play, I was like, well, how much did Michael Pratt really want? And whatever he wanted, they should have given it to him, because I think they really are. like I look at him and I said, the quarterback. I mean, I said the young receivers, they look big and strong, and the defense looks fast, and they're missing maybe a game changer on the defensive line, especially the 3-tech. But otherwise, they've got some good parts. But no one's going to respect Graham Mertz to throw the ball downfield.
No, and he can't run. It's like, what's the point?
He can't escape the pressure. Yeah, I don't really understand what they're doing. I mean, if they could, that perimeter passing underneath stuff, it's not going to work once they get to the conference. Is there? The conference, those defenses are built to stop that. All of them, they're all built to stop that sort of short stuff. So, I just think they're going to have. It's just going to be a rough. They're going to have to win a lot of ugly ball games. It's just not going to be easy.
What do you see with this quarterback? 48 sacks he suffered at Wisconsin, and then you're looking at him the other night at Utah. Does it seem like he can't read a defense, or he's holding the ball way too long, and that's what you would attribute to all the sacks he gave up at Wisconsin, and then, of course, the other night? Or was it that Florida offensive line not being as good as a lot of people thought it was going to be?
I thought the line could have been better. They needed to run. They did not run the ball at all like they needed to. But also, I just think anytime a little bit of pressure comes, I see a guy that just gets happy feet. He runs into a lot of he walks into a couple. I can't say run. He walks into a couple of bags. And I think the minute the pocket breaks down, he just collapses. He's not, he's not a very confident pocket passer. And, he doesn't have the athleticism to do anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know who's can they get that kid that they've already, what was his name? Lagway? I know he was there for summer practice. Maybe he could just, instead of playing high school, he could just play college.
See if we can take some quick online, like 1 week class. Get that high school by the end of September.
Get it going early on. Isn't that sad to say that high school kid would probably be better quarterback than the kid they got playing? Had 28 starts in college. Probably true.
Their quarterback situation is behind them is Jack Miller, who nobody wants to see, right? Florida at least. I mean, they saw enough of him.
Is there anybody else?
I don't know. I mean,
can run, can do anything.
I'm just looking at, do they have a former high school quarterback that can go in there and put some wildcat on occasion? Like maybe do something.
All right, we'll see.
Change that sucker.
All right, partner. Anything else?
Before I go, I do want to say that I was not bullish on UCF in April. I was coming around to them a little bit in August after I read some magazines. Now, after watching Baylor and Texas Tech get upset, I'm thinking they might win 8 or 9 games in the Big 12 this year.
What if they were to win the Big 12? Oh, my God.
Wow.
That would be something. Man, maybe they can play FSU in the playoff. That'll be fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Exactly.
All right, partner. Let's do this again next week, my friend. Great stuff, as always. Corey Long. Catch him on Twitter at Corey Long, CoreYLong, Corey Long. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
That's where to get me. Take care, guys.
All right. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. Greg Allman's going to join us from The Athletic, covers the NFC South, particularly the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll find out if he's got any news on this proposed Mike Evans deal. That and more when we come back. We're brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. If you want to lose weight or get your testosterone right, Bay Area Modern Medical Center is where to go. Also, they are my primary care physician. They should be yours as well. Chris Lugo and the team over there will get you right. It's Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Back in 3 with Greg Allman. Stay with us.
Coins sitting around the house. Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendimondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement cost, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. It will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
All right. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we get going in our second hour. It's opening weekend for the NFL. Cannot wait. Bucs and Vikings, 1 o'clock on Sunday. We got Chiefs and Lions Thursday night. Should be interesting.
Yes, without Chris Jones, supposedly.
Yeah, that's right, without Chris Jones. We have Greg on the line?
We do. We got him.
Right. Let's welcome in our good friend Greg Auman from The Athletic, now covering the NFC South and, of course, the Buccaneers in particular. What's up, Greg? How are you?
Hey, doing well, JP. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I was just perusing your Twitter and saw that the Josena Anderson tweet that is out there, that there's a framework that has been agreed upon. As far as your sources are saying, you cannot confirm that?
I don't even know that she was saying that there was a framework that was agreed upon. It's like she said that a structure was sent to them that was acceptable for him and was like, I forget how she framed it.
Yeah, it was a little oddly worded. Yeah.
I don't know that it was meant to be like hey, this is happening. But I mean, in reaching out to both sides, it was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't think they've had, if they had that offer sent, it wasn't recently. There's no activity on that front, and I don't know that I expect activity. I don't really think the Bucs are going to respond kindly to a public ultimatum like they're getting. So we'll see, but I'd be surprised if there's any real progress between now and this deadline on Saturday.
Greg, are you surprised at how this situation is all kind of played out? Because all we heard the last couple of months was how the Bucs and the organization were working on an extension, and now all of a sudden this comes out.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wasn't somebody who, like, you had people that were reporting like it's close or it's going to happen in training camp or definitely before the season started. And I didn't report that. I mean, I think both sides have said they want to be together, but at no point have they been anywhere close on money.
Wow.
I mean, if you listen to Mike Evans people, I mean, they want to talk about Cooper Kupp kind of money. And there's really nobody his age that's gotten anything close to that. So, it's tricky for the Bucs because there's only one team in the NFL that's paying 2 receivers $20 million a year right now, and that's the Chargers. And I don't even know if that necessarily is a model you'd want to emulate.
Yeah.
So they got a tough decision to make. But again, I don't think the two sides are very close. And if they were close, the Bucs really could have used the cap space that would come with an extension for Mike Evans this spring. I mean, if they did this in March and gave him a new deal, there's like $10 million in new cap space that gets them a starter or two, a real difference on this team. So if they were close, I think they would have done it. And there's really not as much benefit to do it now. They don't really have a use for cap space beyond kind of the operational costs for this season, that kind of thing.
And, the other thing is, Greg, when I went through the statement from the agent, and he specifically pointed to the Glazers and ownership, I was like, "Ooh, that's interesting." And I thought to myself, I know the Glazers. I've spoken to Brian about this, and they trust Jason implicitly. They don't get involved in too much of these things, but I've since heard that yes, they are very much involved in this particular one, and they're not really into paying Mike well into his 30s, $25-30 million. And frankly, I don't blame them. There's not a great track record for wide receivers 9 years in, post 30, getting a hell of a lot better. Now, I think Mike's a little different. I think he's gotten better actually the last couple of years. You cannot say he's not a model teammate, a model person, a model in the community. He's done it all. But the problem is Father Time. And that's the ultimate winner, right? And I think that's where we're at on this. Is that a good characterization?
Oh, yeah. Mike as a person is the absolute model. I mean, again, if they paid guys for being good in the community, he'd be making a lot more than $16 million a year. He's a gem. And I don't think anyone's ever disputing that. It's just, unfortunately, this is a football contract and a football decision, and they have to make it based on that. So again, it's not that they don't want him there. I just think the natural decline in a position in a certain age, you have to be mindful of. So you can't pay him for who he's been. You have to pay him for who you think he's going to be. And again, what we don't know is what the market for Mike will be across the league. It could be that Saturday comes and goes, and he plays out this season and has a season very much like he's had in Tampa and leads his team in touchdowns and passes 1,000 yards again. And even if he does that, I don't really have a full grip on what he would get on the open market. There's not a ton of other receivers in this free agent class in terms of young guys. T. Higgins is a guy who'll be available. Michael Pittman Jr. will be available. But there's not a ton of great receivers. If anything, that's a position where you're going to see other guys cut loose during their contracts that'll join the free agent class. So, again, if he has a great year and he gambles and bets on himself and he has 13 or 14 touchdowns like he did those first Brady years, he might get the money he's looking for. But if he has another year where he has 1,000 yards and extends that streak and has 6 touchdowns, I don't know that there's a hefty payday for a 31-year-old coming off that season.
Do you think it could be a case here, Greg, where Jason Light says, you know what, we're going to take our chances. We let Levante David test the market. His market wasn't that great. You allowed Jamel Dean to test the market. His market wasn't that great. Do you think it's a simple case of, you know what, we're going to let him test the market, see what happens, and then he'll come back to us?
It could be. I mean, Levante would be a good model for that, in that Levante David, again, adored by fans, has played at a high level. He was making $12.5 a year, went to the open market, and came back to make $4.5 million a year. That's less than 50 cents on the dollar. So again, they want him back. He's a leader. You want him to be able to play his entire career in Tampa. I keep going back to these guys, and it's like, do they let them do the Derek Brooks and Rondé thing, where you play one career in one city for one franchise, or is it Sapp or Lynch, where they were great, but they made the decision at a certain year? And honestly, Sapp and Lynch both played later in Tampa than Mike will on this contract if he's done after this year, but they made the decision to kind of get off that train. And again, Lynch made Pro Bowls in Denver. Lynch made the Ring of Honor in Denver after he left here. But I think there's sometimes with player evaluation, there's just as much care put into evaluating somebody on the way down as there is on the way up. And it's a tough decision to make because there's a sentimentality that's not there with a draft pick or with somebody you just signed. You have a 10-year relationship with this guy, and you wish you could keep everybody who has that, and especially somebody who's as great off the field as Mike is. But the financial reality is you can't keep everybody, and they're going to have a limited cap next spring. They're going to have to decide with Levante, which was already a tough decision this past year.
Right.
Antoine Wynn's still free. Winfield is. Devin White is. They'll have a ton. I mean, everybody they added this year is a one-year contract. So, if they like Ryan Neal, he's not going to be as cheap as he was this year.
Exactly.
If they like Chase McLaughlin, he's not going to be as good as he was this year, as cheap as he was this year. If Baker Mayfield has a good year, he's not going to be a $4 million quarterback.
That's right. Yeah.
So
and they'll get some relief as the cap goes up. Yeah.
And if you spend $20 million to get Mike Evans right now, that just means that's one big guy you won't be able to re-sign in March.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a salary cap league, as we all know. And it's as players get older, those big-time contracts don't look so good, especially when it's guaranteed money and you can't get out of it. So I hope it works out, but I think I just don't have a good feeling about this. But we'll see. We'll see from Mike. Any word on Kalijah Cansey and Winfield? Do you think they're going to play Sunday? What are your thoughts?
No, I mean, Winfield, I wasn't there Monday. I wasn't there yesterday, but I mean, Wednesday will kind of be the telltale tale.
Yeah.
Jake with Matt. I think Winfield was there Monday, so I'm kind of thinking he's trending toward playing.
Yeah.
Cansey has gone 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Since he practiced. So even if he came back Wednesday and showed signs, I think you don't want to rush that. So I would be surprised if he's able to play Sunday if he hasn't practiced yet to this point.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anybody else that's on the maybe list. I think that's about all of them. But
fine.
Yeah.
Diaby seems fine.
Yeah.
Servasia Dennis seems fine. I think it could very well be him. If things go as expected, it might be that Cansey's the only no-go, the only injury scratch on Sunday.
Good. Winfield Jr., is he fine? He's good to go?
Yeah, Winfield Jr. Yeah, he just mentioned that.
I mean, I think he, like I said, practiced Monday. I don't know what extent he practiced. If you see him out there tomorrow, it's one of those where, I think they recognize not only how important he is, but how little they have at safety. I mean, if he isn't going, you're looking at a Kayvon Merriweather starting or a D. Delaney starting against a pretty potent offense. So yeah. I would think if it's close, they want him to get. I mean, obviously, you don't want to do anything that hurts him beyond week one, but if he's close, he'll be out there, I think.
Hey, Greg, I look at this team. We haven't got your total thoughts on this in quite a while. As we, I want to wait till game week, to really make a call on what I think this team is going to do. I would have liked to have seen the first team a hell of a lot more this preseason. I think that was a miscalculation by Todd Bowles, just in nothing else, just so he can evaluate what they do well. They played 2 series together. How do you know? But that being said, I think Baker Mayfield is the perfect man for this particular offense. I'm a little concerned about the offensive line, but I really have a good feeling about this team as a whole. I think they've got kind of a chip on their shoulder to prove that it was more than just Brady. Everybody's writing them off. I really, and then of course there's the Madden 24 simulation. I mean, how can you doubt that? They got the Bucs in the Super Bowl, for God's sakes. Right. I just got a good feeling about this team that they're going to surprise. I really think 9-10 wins and competing for the division is a real thing. I don't think they're a 2-win team that so many people do. Where are you at with this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I am quite as optimistic as you are. I don't think they'll be as bad as a lot of people are suggesting they'll be. I mean, to see them, 29th and 30th in power rankings and stuff like that. I think nationally people see that Brady is gone. They see that they really didn't have many impact signings at all in free agency. They'll be a very different team. I think it makes it really hard to evaluate because even if you look at things you didn't like about last year's team, they'll be hugely different. I mean, there's so many rookies that'll be on the field, so many key parts of last year's team that aren't even in the league. It's like we looked it up last week and there's like 6 or 7 beyond Brady retired, but just there's like 6 other guys that played last year and had like 2,500 snaps for this team that aren't anywhere in the league.
Wow.
So that kind of suggests that those guys, the Julio Jones and Logan Ryan and Cam Braid and Kyle Rudolph and all those types, Akeem Hicks, they can't have been playing at that high a level if the rest of the league, I mean, maybe they all just decided to retire at the same time. But there's not a lot of interest in these players that were a big division championship team last year.
Well, we shall see. Greg, thank you for your time as always. One quick note, just that you are covering the NFC South. Maybe a quick paragraph on each of the teams you've seen in this preseason.
Yeah, I've been able to see everybody a little bit. I'll be at Panthers Falcons on Sunday. for what'll be Bryce Young's debut and Bijan Robinson's debut. Curious to see what happens. It's still really, really hard to peg who will come out in this division. I think the winner out of Carolina and Atlanta definitely has a leg up as just the early uncertain team with a real question mark at quarterback. One of those could come out looking really sharp. They both could look rough. New Orleans, I think we've known that they had the commodity at quarterback that really nobody else in the division has. I don't know what their defense will be like, whether they'll be a veteran defense or just an old defense.
Yeah.
So no, it's hard to know. It's like I'll see all 4 teams in the first 2 weeks of the season, so I'll know better, 2 weeks from now than I know now, I think. But it'll be tough. I don't think this is division where anybody runs out and goes 11-6, or anybody really stumbles and goes 3-14. I think it'll be a tight bunch like it was last year.
I agree with you. All right, Greg, thanks, man. Appreciate your time as always. Look forward to chatting with you this year. Thanks, buddy.
All right, take it easy.
Greg Auman there. You can find him at Greg Auman on Twitter.
Yes, Fox Sports now, not The Athletic. So he's covering the
it's Fox Sports now. That's right. My bad.
Sports. That's okay. I got you.
Should have on the air. Tell me, you moron. It's Fox Sports now. It's not The Athletic.
I didn't want to call you a moron.
That's fine. Everybody else does. No big deal. I can't wait for Sunday, man. And just this whole NFL schedule this week. There's so many unknowns. That I was on Greg's timeline too. He had this whole thing about rookie quarterbacks. Were they 0-14? Rookie court number 1 overall picks in their first game, going back 0-14. Holy crap! Wow.
You got to. I mean, that's a great betting thing, right? I mean,
well, look, they go to bad teams, right? The number 1 overall pick usually goes to a bad team. So much is expected, and when they start, their head is swimming. It's a hard ask, and I just, Bryce Young he was a hell of a college player. I just don't see it translating to the NFL. He's just so small.
Is he better or is he worse than Tua?
Flag football better. Unfortunately, we play tackle football, and I just don't see it, man. He's so freaking small.
Yeah,
and you just get it's such a beastly game in the NFL right now. And I know they don't get hit much, but he's going to get hit a little bit. And at Alabama, he didn't get hit a lot because almost every week they've got a mountain of guys. Even when their offensive line is bad, he's not getting hit. So. Anyway, let's take we got TJ ready to go. All right,
we got him ready to go. Yeah,
let's bring him in. TJ Pittenger joins us here from the Double Fries No Slaw podcast, FSU podcast. I decided not to go to the game, TJ, on Sunday because I just can't stand that stadium. And
it's terrible.
From what I heard from my people that went, I made the right decision because they ran out of water. It's just a crap show in there. It's a bunch of state fair concession stands. But anyway, the atmosphere was tremendous. It just came through the TV that way. I went to a big tailgate. FSU people were out in huge numbers. And as I said in the open, the spear is lit. It is lit and it's ready to go. FSU is back, and I'm convinced this is going to be a special season. What did you see?
Yeah, I think we all thought that on paper this team could do some really, really special things, right? But you just got to see it. You just got to see it happen. But we talked a lot about, Florida State having an opportunity to go out there and prove a lot of people right, to go out there and prove a lot more people wrong. And I think the narrative was you were lucky to get LSU at the beginning of the year last year. You were lucky that it was Brian Kelly's first game. You were lucky that Mason Smith went down. You were lucky that this happened, that happened. And I think Florida State heard all that. You were lucky to only win by 1. You were lucky to get the blocked extra point. And I think Florida State played like they were pissed, especially in that second half. They played like they were pissed off. Yeah. About hearing that. And that's why Mike Norvell went for the touchdown late. That's why they did. That's why you had Jaheim Bell running guys over, trucking, because they heard all year you were lucky to do this. Hey, you were lucky. LSU was a better team. Like Florida State didn't get better all year. Right. And, everyone, what I think people were most confident in is LSU is going to be better this year than they were last year. And they very well may be. At the end of the year, But I'm telling you, Florida State is so much better than they were last year, as you could see, and they're so much better than LSU is, and I think that was probably our biggest takeaway from it.
Yeah, and also what I saw Heather Dinich said after the game, FSU isn't back, and because LSU isn't back. I was like, wow, okay, all right. I think that's a little wrong. I think LSU is going to be a 9-10 win team. I think FSU, after what I saw from Clemson, if they don't win 11 or 12, I'm going to be pissed at this point. I mean, so I don't buy into that. I think it's not just because they beat LSU the way they did. Look at the effing talent out there, man. Look at the talent. Listen, when FSU's been good, they send 7-8 guys to the league. I saw about 7-8 guys that are going to play in the league in FSU uniforms, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, I think Keon Coleman might be the second wide receiver taken in the draft. Maybe first. We'll see. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. at Ohio State is kind of been wide receiver one for a while, but I'll tell you what, he goes up and puts 3 touchdowns every game. He's going to be number one. He looked
and the
like
way he did it too.
Man among boys. He is so like his catch rating, his catch percentage on contested balls is 92%. You know what we call it, right, JP? 50-50 balls. They're not 50-50 balls. They're 90-10. But here's the problem. He doesn't get any contested balls because he's such a good route runner. Yeah. Was anyone near him? I mean, the jump balls in the end zone, obviously the guy's all over him. But the rest of the night, nobody was near him. He was
the first touchdown, open. he caught that with ease and just ran through a tackle by a very good player. Yeah,
he is so physically gifted and talented. And this Florida State team was gonna be good without him. They were gonna be good before he got here. They're ridiculous right now. And I mean, JP, Peter, who was more impressive this week than Florida State?
Well, Colorado probably.
Colorado was impressive.
Right, but they didn't play, the number
5
ranked team in the SEC.
TCU is not nearly as good. TCU lost.
Not as good as LSU.
Yeah.
But that game, to me, that was the best. That was one of the best games I've ever seen. I mean, nothing away from Colorado. That was phenomenal.
It was phenomenal.
But Florida State was the most impressive team in the country week one. They had the best win. It was insane, man.
Oh, there's no question they had the best win because Alabama and Georgia played nobodies, as did Michigan. So, of the top teams that played anybody, I mean, they spanked that ass. FSU didn't just squeak by; they spanked that ass and put the foot down in the second half. So, yeah, if I'm sitting there as a playoff, if they were doing a poll this week in rankings, the best win of the weekend was by far FSU's.
Yeah, I mean, TJ, look, they talk about all the offensive weapons on the outside, but do you believe with the adjustments they made in that second half that it comes and goes with that running game?
Yeah, I think that Florida State, it took some time, and I think Jordan Travis looked a little – it just didn't look like himself. I don't know if it was nerves. I don't know if LSU was just doing some things really well. But Jordan didn't look like himself. And so I think that, the offense is going to go as far as your leader does, as your quarterback does. And so, yeah, they didn't really establish the run in the first half like you'd have wanted. But, man, when they got it going in the second half, the run, I mean, it's just so complimentary. Because what are you going to do? I mean, the offensive line, we've talked about how good we expect them to be. They went toe-to-toe with an SEC front, a very good SEC front, and held their own. Well, what do? You bring more guys down in the box and let Keon Coleman go one-on-one with people? Do you bring guys down in the box and let Johnny Wilson go one-on-one with people? Jaheim Bell? You don't have a lot of options. And so if you back guys off, we're going to run down your throat. I mean, it is going to – I don't know – and – this is lofty, but until I'm proven wrong, I'll probably just say it. I don't know how anybody in the country guards Florida State. Anyone. And I think, there are teams, Georgia, Alabama, there are teams set up well to do better against it, but I don't know that they have an answer to shut it down. Now, they may be able to limit it. They may be able to slow it more than others, but that was a good LSU defense, man. And they've got some deficiencies in the secondary, and that's why we're confident, but I don't know how you slow this offense down when it's clicking, right? If they're shooting themselves in the foot, if they're doing dumb things, he made a couple off decisions early.
Yeah, he did.
But if they're clicking, I don't know who stops this offense.
I thought the offensive line at times was giving up some quick pressures. I was a little, you got to give LSU credit. They've got some NFL players on that defensive line, so you're not going to win every rep. But there was at times where I thought Jordan had to run for his life a little bit. It's going to happen, but if I saw any deficiencies, that was it. But I know the talent is there, and they'll fix a lot of that.
Yeah, I think so. And I thought they got better as the game went on. They made a couple of changes, had some guys that maybe got better. They were a lot better in the second half when honestly they made some changes there. And that depth, I think people think about depth. Oh, you have your top 5 and you're just going to play those 5 until you get it. No, I think you have matchups. You have certain guys that are better in run block, certain guys that are better in pass block. And they made some changes at halftime. And I thought they were much, much better. Speaking of that, the halftime adjustments, I saw somebody else say this too, and so I'm stealing from them, but I don't really believe in like halftime speeches like go out and win one for the Gipper. Right. But halftime adjustments, oh my goodness. And, we're going to rave about this offense all year because it's going to be top 5 in the country. But the defense that they played in the second half, the turnovers, the limiting them on fourth down. I mean, they went on a 31-0 run, and then obviously they scored with a minute to go in garbage. But like, you don't do that without the defense stepping up. And they stymied a very good LSU offense, a Heisman candidate in Jaden Daniels, a great wide receiver in Malik Neighbors. The defense was insane on Saturday night in the second half as well.
Would agree with that. TJ Pitcher joining us here with the Double Fries No Slaw FSU podcast. Brandon Fisk, I think, was as advertised up front. I thought, the one thing that last year that really bothered me, especially in the Oklahoma game, was just getting gashed in the run game. And I thought LSU had some moments there, mostly with Jaden, but for the most part, when they wanted to line up and try to run the ball at Florida State, they couldn't do it. And that was telltale right there.
Yeah, I thought we were so good. And I thought, we expected the defensive line to be really good. We expected on paper that it to take a massive step forward with Braden Fisk, the emergence of Josh Farmer. We knew about Jared Verse. We knew about Pat Payton. We knew about Gil Redmond. We knew about Fabian Lovett coming back. Obviously, he was a little banged up at times, but I think we knew that they had the potential to be good, but we wanted to see it. And LSU has a great offensive line. All blue chips, a couple of 5-stars, all Americans on that offensive line. That's a good offensive line. And again, in the second half, Florida State got pushed. Florida State was able to kind of dominate and do whatever they wanted from that defensive side of the ball. I mean, they held LSU to 113 yards rushing. 64 of that came from Daniels, and so I don't know how much I'm putting on the defensive line. They had 49 yards outside of Jaden Daniels running the ball, which is a mirror image of last year. Yeah. And 35 of that came on one play. They had a 35-yard rush to start the thing off. Outside of that 35-yard rush and Jaden Daniels' run, they had 14 yards rushing. That's insane for an SEC
and
team.
those fourth down plays in their own end, which I think Brian Kelly outcoached himself there. Mm-hmm. And I think it showed a little desperation. He knew he had to score 7s and not 3s because evidently FSU was that's the way he coached, and he got outcoached. Peter Banks, by the way, saying SEC honk that he is. Oh, Brian Kelly's going to outcoach Mike Norvell. Mike Norvell's swimming in deep waters now. He can't handle this. I'm like, oh, okay.
Peter Burns.
Yeah. What I say? Peter Banks? Peter Burns. Yeah. The SEC honk, whatever. I thought Mike called a really, really good game. I thought his decisions were solid. I had some issues with the way he managed games last year, but I thought he was spot on with everything he did. And Brian Kelly made some really bad decisions.
I think it's the third year in a row that Mike Norvell has outcoached Brian Kelly. They came in, and he's 4-0 against Kelly against the spread now. But he came in as Kelly came in as a huge favorite in that 2021 year. Florida State coming off 3 wins that game in Tallahassee on Labor Day. Florida State forces overtime. Notre Dame wins. They much more talented team, obviously. Yeah. And then last year I think again LSU more talented, and you saw Florida State squeak out a close win. Shouldn't have been close, but did squeak out a close. And now that the talent's even. I mean, nobody's going to argue that Mike Norvell has a more accomplished career than Brian Kelly. Like, of course, Brian Kelly has a more established life. But look me dead in the face and tell me that Mike Norvell's not a better coach right now than Brian Kelly.
Oh, no question.
I'm seeing it 3 years in a row. And I think because it was close, because it was 1-1, people didn't believe. I'm telling you right now, Mike Norvell's a better coach, and that just is what it is.
do you get the sense with doing your podcast that more fans are feeling the same way that you're feeling, like that Mike Norvell is a better coach at this point and was the right guy for the job?
Yeah, I think they're pretty sold. I think even the and the critics, I don't think could have much of a leg. Like, that's a bad hill to die on right now.
Yeah.
If you don't believe in Mike Norvell, but yeah, I think there are very few left. I think, I think there are people that, I think every question has been answered, right? They got better on the field. They have a top 5 recruiting class right now. They look like one of the powers of college football again. I saw Brett McMurphy, Tampa guy, voted Florida State number 1 in his AP poll. It'll come out here soon. And so they're going to have I don't think they're going to be number 1, but they're going to have number 1 votes next to their name. And again, the only reason they're not going to be number 1 is because people remember Georgia from last year. But right. Florida State's, so far, we just admit they're the best team in the country right now. Or they've played the best, right? Like, what have you done for me lately? But they're going to, and so, yeah, I don't know how anybody still doubts Mike Norvell. And like I said, very few do. And if you do, you're probably not saying it right now.
you're a knucklehead, for sure. All right, partner. Thoughts on the rest of the league? What you saw this week? Clemson. Woo. Wow. I don't think they're as bad as what we saw last night, but I don't think, they're not the juggernaut that they once were. That's for damn sure. And their quarterback does not impress me one bit.
Yeah, they got some stuff to figure out these next 2 weeks because, if and I agree with you, I don't think they're as bad as they finished last night. Dabo talked about it too. Like, hey, how many times are we going to outgain somebody, just beat them and everything, and then just every single drive not finish, turnover. And it was insane to watch it because, they fumbled on the one. You're like, oh, that's cute, and then they get down there, they do it again. And you're like, no way. They're missing field goals, getting them blocked. I mean, even if they just kick field goals on all those possessions and you take away the 7 points on the Duke, they win the game, And so I don't think when Florida State heads up to Death Valley, I don't think Florida State will get those same breaks. I don't expect Clemson to turn it over 7 times or whatever the number, 4 or 5 times and not be able to just look horrendous. But at the same time, I don't think Florida State needs those breaks. I think Florida State is just a better team right now. Now, they're good at Death Valley, and I expect them to play better when they're up there. And, but I don't think Florida State's going to blink. I don't think they're going to I don't want to say this because I don't want to hype people up too much, but I don't think it's going to be like 2013. And I'm not predicting any kind of blowout, but the way that the 2013 team went up to Clemson and didn't blink, the way that they went up there and said, we don't care about you running down the hill. We don't care about your entrance. We don't care about your rock. We don't care about your quarterback. We don't care about anything else you got. We're coming to play, and we're going to go toe-to-toe. And if you're better than us and you beat us, great. Don't care. But the reason Clemson's so good at home is because teams are watching them drive that bus around. Teams are watching them run down that hill. Teams are watching, all the start. Florida State ain't going to blink twice. They're going to go toe-to-toe. And I like them to win. I mean, after what we saw in the last 48 hours, everybody in the country likes them to win right now, but I think that's going to be a fun one. I think Clemson will play better. I don't expect Florida State to win by 40 or anything crazy, but I think they come out with a win. I think they go 4-0 to start the year. And then at that point, you're just trying to step up down the stretch.
Watch out for Duke.
Duke's going to be a fun one. I think Duke was
that there or Tallahassee. I think it's
in Tallahassee. I think Duke is good, but man, they were lucky last night. They were really they made the plays when they had to be made. But
I thought they played really well. I thought they physically, I've never seen Duke go toe to toe with Clemson. I thought physically they didn't give up the line of scrimmage much. No,
in the trenches, the unforced things by Clemson, that was tipped intercept, the fumbled handoffs and stuff like that. That's where I think Duke was somewhat fortunate. A kicker that can't hit anything. Yeah. But Duke in the trenches didn't look like there was that much of a disparity.
No,
they weren't getting moved off the line, and I thought that was impressive for sure. Elko's done a great job there.
It really has.
I think they could. And we go beat Clemson. I think Duke could be in the ACC championship. We all thought it was going to be a Florida State Clemson rematch in Charlotte. It might be a Florida State Duke rematch in Charlotte.
What about North Carolina? What about Drake?
They were good against South Carolina too. And
FSU doesn't play North Carolina, so it'd be nice to play them in the in a championship game.
We all thought that Florida State Clemson this year was going to be the best ACC game of the year. and I think it's going to be fun, but Duke Carolina might be the best ACC game of the year. We'll see how it all kind of plays out, but some fun competition. And then, I think we're a long way off. We'll see what they do against Texas A&M this weekend, but I mean, Miami's got to play Duke. Miami's got to play North Carolina. I think there are other games that if they can stay invested, I mean, I think there's a lot of, it's all coming to an end. And I know we haven't talked conference realignment. It's all coming to an end, I think, but I think this is going to be a good year for the ACC. I think there are a lot of good teams that make a lot of noise, but
let's get one question in on there on realignment. And I'm like, Cal, Stanford, are you freaking kidding? Like SMU, I'm okay with because at least they give a shit about football. Cal, Stanford, what are we doing? Like, is it tea time? Are they all going to go, get into the president's boardroom at some 5-star resort and tell everybody how smart they are and wonderful they are? This is about freaking football. Nobody gives a rat's ass about Cal or Stanford. And that's just one more reason FSU's getting the hell out.
Got to get out.
Yeah.
You know who does, but you say that, but you know who does care is the ACC. When we were at the ACC kickoff and Jim Phillips got up there and they were asking about realignment and revenue distribution stuff, what was his answer? Well, the ACC had 2 teams in the women's soccer national championship game, and the ACC had both representatives in the championship game of men's lacrosse at a football kickoff event. He touted non-revenue championships. He said we won the most championships of any conference last year. And it's just like, how much did and I'll tell you this, I love women's sports in Tallahassee. I go to all the softball games. I took my daughter to Oklahoma City for the Women's College World Series. We've been to beach volleyball. We've been to women's tennis. We've been to women's basketball.
We love it.
We love it. But to be at a football event and tout non-revenue generating sports, when the question was, Commissioner Phillips, what are you going to do to increase the revenue gap between ACC and SEC and Big Ten? Well, let me tell you about our non-revenue generating sports: men's lacrosse, women's soccer, tennis. And I'm like, man. Stanford's a great addition for this conference because they don't give a damn about football anyway.
Yeah. It's just go be a basketball conference and let's get the hell out and take Clemson with us. It's ridiculous. I don't know
Duke with us after this weekend.
No, Duke will want to stay. They would stay with Cal and Stanford. They'll all love you. They'll have a nice love fest in their hippie clothes, smoke some weed, and tell us the world is ending because it was hot yesterday. Good for them. We're going to play football somewhere. All right. Tell everybody how they can get the podcast, partner.
Yeah, Double Fries, No Slaw everywhere. YouTube is the main hub, but you can find it anywhere and everywhere if you search that. Boys, I appreciate you having me.
Good stuff. TJ, thanks, buddy. All right, we'll take a quick break. We're going to come back, get you a little Bucs stuff. Dave Canales talked yesterday. We'll hit that a little bit. A couple other notes and news we got. Oh, and I have an update on the Mike Evans contract from a very, very good source. I want to bury the lead here, and I'll do that after the break. So quick break. We're brought to you by Italiano Insurance. They just saved me $1,000 on my auto insurance for the year. Love those folks. Great customer service. Let them do the same for your homeowners, your auto. Do the quick checkup, 813-877-7799. Tell them JP sent you. You want to do a checkup on all your insurance. They could save you thousands, which is a good deal in these inflationary times. Italiano Insurance been doing it for over 60 years. 813-877-7799. Back in 3 with a Mike Evans update. Fun happening at The Patio, the most unique sports bar in South Tampa. Come watch football in a tropical paradise beneath the trees and stars. We have all the NFL and sports packages, and we always have the big fights, UFC and boxing. Mondays, it's Tullamore Dew Trivia with $4 Tullamore whiskey and trivia prizes, plus, of course, Monday Night Football. Wednesday night, it's karaoke night. Get your song on. 9 to midnight with DJ Will and Mulatto. And Thursdays through Sunday, it's your football headquarters. Happy hour weekdays 3 to 7:30 with $1 off all beers and wine and $4 White Claw vodka drinks and seltzers. And join us for our live broadcast 5 to 7 Football Fridays, big happy hour. You can join the show with the fan Mike, and we'll have swag giveaways and tickets. So watch football in a tropical paradise. It's the Patio, 421 South McDill, just a few blocks south of Kennedy. Everyone meets at the Patio.
Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. So do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. If you got any gold bullion hanging around the house or just some silver coins, some gold coins, anything gold, old jewelry, bring it over to the Gold and Diamond Source. Flatware, you got that silver flatware that your granny brings out once a year. Just bring that in. They'll give you some cash for the Ask Granny first, though. Bring that in, then get her a new set of something else. It'll go over well. But get that cash. They have all kinds of stuff that they take. So give them a call. Go to their website. You can see a list of stuff that they take and bring it in. Get that cash right now. Put it to work. Invest it. Invest it in something. Make some money. It's the Golden Diamond Source. Great folks over there. And, of course, if you're looking for anything jewelry-wise, getting a ring, getting that engagement ring, no other place to go than the Golden Diamond Source. Great selection, great staff more than anything. They're not going to oversell you. They're great folks over there. So go see them at the Golden Diamond Source and tell them JP sent you. All right. So I did a little check-in this morning. Josina Anderson put out this little bit of word salad, getting everybody going. Said, told over the course of talks between both sides, the Bucs received the contract structure that's acceptable to Mike Evans and takes Tampa's considerations into account as well, per source.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what that means. But a well-placed source that I just texted with said, and I'm quoting, "It's clickbait." I can't say the rest of it. So clickbait, nothing happening. Nothing happening there on the Mike Evans front. So very good source, by the way. So I would not expect anything to happen here in the very near future. But listen, the deadline is September 9th. The person I spoke with said they are very, very far apart, as Greg Allman just said as well on this show. They're very, very far apart on numbers. So my guess is Mike's going to play this year, maybe a franchise tag the year after. We shall see. But as far as a long-term deal, and by the way, Mike's made $110 million in his career. So it's not like the Bucs haven't paid them, that the Glazers haven't paid him. We all want Mike to stick around. He's the best of the best. But again, you know, all of you fans that are just say pay him are going to be the same ones bitching when he's 34 years old, has 2 bad hamstrings, and is taking up $30 million on the cap. You know, and that's not disparaging Mike. That's just father time, and it happens. The chances of him being a super productive player for the next 3 or 4 years after the age of 30 are not very good. Just go look at it historically in the NFL, folks. It just doesn't work that way. Jerry Rice was an anomaly. There are very few wide receivers that remain elite after the age of 31, which is what he will be after this year when he plays on the final year of his contract. So, yes, we all love Mike. He deserves it. He's awesome, but you don't deserve anything in this league. You don't get paid for past performance. You get paid for future productivity. And as much as we love him, this is a business, and the Bucs are still in cap hell and will be for another year or so. And this would just be adding to it. So, you know, again, I want Mike on this team this year. I probably want him on the team next year. And you know, for me, it's a year by year thing. I can't commit long term. And by the way, you got to pay Chris Godwin. Are you going to pay Mike Evans? If you pay Mike Evans $25 million, you can't afford Chris Godwin. And Chris is younger and still very, very productive and a really, really good receiver. So
it's a tough decision. I mean, and again, you have Tristan Wirfs, you got Antoine Winfield Jr., who are looking like they're going to get contract extensions. And like you said, some cap hell is still going to exist, although they're going to be in better cap shape next year. And then Ryan Jensen freeing up some of that money will also help. So,
yeah. So look, I just don't think this is one of those things where fans, you know, want to get, you know, their feelings out. And I get it. We all love Mike. You know, in fact, I want to read this just because this is just quintessential Mike Evans from one of our Facebook users. I set up at a card show in 2020 in St. Pete. Mike's chef came by with his son. We talked about Mike and how big a fan I am of the team. I asked if he would get his autograph for me and sent a card with him halfway, never expecting to get the card in the mail, as I had requested if Mike was able and had time. Not only got Mike to sign the card, he came back the same day, and Mike wrote a short letter of thanks for being a fan and supporter. Coolest moment outside of attending the Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean,
wow.
I mean,
that's good stuff right there. I mean, that's
and there's another 100,000 stories like that for Mike Evans. He's just the best of the best. And you want to, we all want to pay him, you know. And if the Glazers could pay him without a cap, they would. I'm telling you. But you got to keep the team competitive, guys. You've got to put the team first. Mike knows that. His agent knows that. Everybody knows what the score is. It is what it is. So, but again, my source is telling me that the Josina Anderson report is hogwash. So there you go. One of our Facebook users says, and I'm sorry I can't see her name, structure it with incentives at 14.5 a year for 5 years. Yeah, you can do that, but likely to earn incentives will count towards the cap the following year. Look, it's all about years and guaranteed money. That's what it's about. We can structure it. You know, Mike Greenberg knows how to structure contracts.
Yeah.
It's all they want to know is how many years and what's the guaranteed money. And Devontae Adams got 65 guaranteed, probably makes 75 over the 3 years, which started last year, right? Mike's going to be 31 when he wants this next contract to start. So there you go.
And that is Justin Lassiter, by the way, with both of those comments. So thanks a lot for participating on Facebook.
Yes, appreciate all you guys jumping in on Facebook. All right, our good friend Chris Lugo is aboard today from Bay Area Modern Medical Center. This whole week, Labor Day thing's got me thrown off, man. Your Mondays, your Tuesdays, like, you know, these 4-day weeks. I don't, you know, normally I'm working a 7-day week, so you know me. How are you, partner?
Pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah. How are you?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
I feel great. I really feel great.
You look good.
Thanks, man. I feel good.
That hat you got on, but you look good.
Dude, look. And listen, Gator man. You need a quarterback because old Graham Mertz looks like old JP.
Right?
He moves like me. like Fred Sanford. That was not impressive. But that Jordan Travis now, he can play. FSU is loaded.
You guys look really good actually this weekend. I was pleasantly surprised. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And Florida's going to be okay. You're going to be fine with this new coach. You got the best quarterback in the recruiting class, or one of the top 5 coming in next year. Quarterback's on the way. Number 2 recruiting class is on the way. But you guys, it's going to be a tough season. It's going to be a tough season. If you had Georgia's schedule or Michigan's schedule, you'd be okay. But you don't. You got your schedule, and it's a lot. It's going to be a lot.
It is what it is, right?
Watch the young players grow. So I was watching, all weekend long, a lot of great college football going on. And I watched a player for Colorado, Travis Hunter, play 129 plays.
Ridiculous.
Plays. In your professional opinion, Doctor, how the hell did he do that? It was like a 90-degree day in Texas, too.
The power of the youth, right?
Yeah, right. Wow.
You just mentioned father time. It's going to catch up to him. Yeah. Enjoy it while you can, because that's not going to last forever. He took a couple notches off the belt on that one, too. He's definitely going to slow down after that. Not a smart thing to do. You're going to wear him out real quickly by doing that. But I think Toby Keith had a song about that. Not as good as I ever was, right? So he'll get away with it this time, but that's not something he's going to be doing week in and week out.
So you would advise Coach Prime, if you were here, to back off a little bit on Travis Hunter snaps.
Just a smidge.
Yeah.
It's like these kids growing up playing baseball, and all they've done is pitch for the whole entire life. You're wearing out that arm, and it's going to look nice here for the first few years, but after that, you're not going to get past a double-A or triple-A ball after that.
All right, so we got COVID is back. I'm hearing. What's going on with that? How do we prepare ourselves? What happens if we get it? What do you think? What do you say?
Yeah, so swab early. I mean, I'm getting people all the time saying, "Oh, I got a cold." I'm like, "Oh, really? Did you swab for COVID?" It's on a comeback. It's here. My mom just had it. She had it last weekend, freaking out about it. Biggest thing I say, get an IV. That's going to be the big thing to do. Get an IV. Get ahead of this thing. Don't wait on it. But right now, COVID is on a comeback. It's running a little rampant through. And our vice president's, our first lady has COVID again. Strange, right?
Wow.
Vaccinated from here to high heaven, supposedly, and still getting COVID. And has had Paxlovid too in the past, right? So,
yeah. And by the way, you're speaking of the vaccine. They're not going to. Our Homeland Security is not going to let Djokovic play in the Miami Open because he's not vaccinated. Is this the dumbest? He just played in the U.S. He's playing in the U.S. Open, but they're not going to let him play in Miami, and Indian Wells, I think, as well in California. I mean, we still have a vaccine mandate for people coming into this country now? Not if you're walking across the border, of course. You don't need
correct. It's
but
okay
to
walk
across
the border, but don't try to fly in and play a professional sport here. Yeah, I don't know if that's. I don't know whose rules that is.
No, we are. I think we're the only country left, free country, in quotes, that mandates a vaccine to get into the country. We're the only one left, and since Djokovic,
but he's playing the U.S. Open right now.
I don't understand that part. I think he was applied for a waiver, and while the waiver was being considered, maybe they let him play. I don't know. I read an article this morning that said we won't be able to play in the Miami Open or moving forward.
Look, I just love the fact that he's standing by his guns and not quiet, just giving in to everybody at this point in time, because he could easily has the access to get a fake card, fake documents saying that he's been vaccinated just to set people's mind at ease. But he's like, screw this. I'm standing by my guns, my morals. Look, we don't have a vaccine mandate for COVID anymore in the military. That was kind of hushed under on the rug, right?
Right.
I'm happy because I got a lot of my good guys back in my unit, which I'm ecstatic for. But yeah, they're not getting kicked out of the Army like they were supposedly a year and a half ago. Strange.
Would you advise anyone to get the booster? It just depends on, or if they have kids, that's a no-go, right? Like kids don't need it.
I don't think for kids I would get it for them unless they've got some crazy comorbidities going on. For adults, if you've got some crazy comorbidities going on and you need to be ultra protected, if you want to say that. But otherwise, this new variant has been pretty pretty mild in the sense that I'm not giving ivermectin out like I was. I had a lady call who wanted ivermectin. I'm like, how are you feeling? She goes, oh, I feel fine. I'm like, then don't take the ivermectin. There's no reason to take it. If you're feeling fine, I said, I'm listening to your voice as you're talking. You don't sound out of breath. You don't sound like you're congested. You're just worried that you've got COVID. You want ivermectin? I said, let's watch it for now. So it's not making educated decisions at this point in time.
So wait. If you feel like you get, well, first of all, are the tests good? Can you still get these tests? And are they, I've heard so much about the tests not being good, but are these new tests better?
I don't know about these new tests. I'm still using the Abbott ID, which is a PCR, which is a molecular test actually, which is Abbott's been making diagnostic machinery for health 60, 70 years at this point in time. So they're pretty tried.
Pretty reliable. Okay.
I'm not sure about the stuff that you're getting at the pharmacy or those little swabs.
Well, they send you the ones to the mail in the mail too, like the government.
The ones that are made in China. I'm just asking, are they made in China?
Yeah,
they are. Yeah, take them with a grain of salt, but otherwise, I mean,
they want a real test. Come into your office and get a real test, and then we'll figure it out from there.
There's two readily available every place this day and age. But yeah, swab early, find out what you got, just so you're making educated decisions. I mean, the first thing this lady did was she called up somebody and they gave her a Z-Pack. And I'm like, are you congested? No. Do you have any mucus come out? No. I'm like, well, then why are you taking an antibiotic? That's for bacteria. This is a virus. This is not going to help you. If anything, it's going to obliterate your immune system inside your gut. Now you're going to annihilate all those good bacteria that we have that are helping you out. Now you're just destroyed them for no reason, just because someone thinks that you need an antibiotic.
Yeah. Yeah. These are the things that we need to know. Absolutely. So if you do get COVID, wait to see if the symptoms are bad, then go get some ivermectin.
Well, vitamins, we talked about this before.
Yeah.
Try it and true. Vitamins. Come on, get your vitamins ahead of you. And poisons in the dose. Make sure you're not taking the right ones, but taking enough of the right ones. All right. And don't forget it. Just because you're taking a fish oil, one a day is not going to help you. You need to be taking enough of it. So quercetin, vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc. You need to be taking the appropriate amounts and getting up on those dosage. And then, just play it by ear. See how you're doing. But I'm not seeing a lot of hospitalizations associated with this variant like we did prior variants.
And you mentioned IV, take an IV. Which one do you have?
So I mean, my friends over Replenish, Steve over there, I love those guys a lot. They do one called Weekend at Vegas. I don't know why they call it Weekend at Vegas, but they do. But literally, it's got everything that I personally love in it. It's not just a regular quote unquote Myers cocktail, which is a bunch of I don't want to say BS, but it doesn't have a lot of stuff. But there are ones they do called the Weekend of Vegas. And I tell everybody, hey, look, ask for that high dose vitamin C, 10,000, 15, 20,000 milligrams of vitamin C in there. And man, that's definitely going to kickstart you. My mom got it done. She was going to try to wait it out. Next day, started feeling a little worse. I said, get the IV. And she's like, an hour afterwards, she's like, oh my God, I felt great. I'm like, should have done that yesterday when I told you.
Yeah, listen to the doc. Come on. All right, partner, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you if they need some of that stuff.
The best way, go to the website, guys. BAMMC, Bravo, Alpha, Mike, Charlie.com. Easiest way to book an appointment or call the office. But like I said, book an appointment online. You'll see the schedule. You'll know exactly what times work best for you.
You'll be as strong as Travis Hunter before the game.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, partner. Thanks, Chris Lugo, Bay Area Minor
guys.
Medical Center. Appreciate you as always.
Chris.
So
good stuff.
Don't freak out about the COVID, folks. Don't freak out. You heard it from the doc right there. Just wait to see what the symptoms are. And if they're bad, give him a call because he can get you the ivermectin. A lot of people won't do that.
Yeah.
So get it from the people who know that what works. All right, what else do we need to get to today? I wanted to play some Dave Canales, but we've had too much going on today.
Well, you can play that tomorrow if you want.
Yeah,
It's good stuff. And then when you get to the Kevin Cash, but that's pretty much self-explanatory. They blew the game against the Red Sox. So
yeah, and look, if they're 98 pitches, they're going to take them out.
Sure.
The problem is, you need a reliever to come in and shut it down, and Davinsky hadn't been that guy. Maybe not the pickup that we had hoped for.
Right.
The numbers coming in have not been good. Usually the Rays figure it out and turn guys around, but maybe they haven't had time to work their magic with this fella. So they get the Red Sox again tonight, right?
Yep, got the Red Sox tonight, so you should be able to hopefully gain some ground here in the next couple days on with the Orioles if they will ever lose. That'll be nice.
Jesus, right?
Oh my gosh, every time. So
you sound like you need to get in to see Doc there.
I've had some congestion here for the last couple of days. I'm not gonna lie, my voice is not that good right now.
Have you done your COVID test yet?
I did not.
All right. Well, now you know. You just got a free doctor visit there from Chris Luga there. So
all right,
figure it out. All right, folks. So again, if you have not heard, my sources are telling me there is no framework, a deal in place for Mike Evans, at least not as of yet. They're still very far apart on numbers. I would expect this deadline now to pass and Mike to play on his final year of his contract, and then could be a franchise situation, or maybe they'll work something out. Who knows? But right now, it doesn't look good. Our thanks to TJ Pittenger, who joined us, Greg Auman from Fox Sports, not The Athletic. Sorry about that. And Corey Long, who joined us as well. Great stuff. If you missed anything, go back and watch it on YouTube. Please subscribe. By the way, we have a new app, so go down and the old app is not working anymore. We new improved app. So go to FanStream Sports DSP Media, download that app, and then you just click menu and then click the website and then hit the JP Peterson show. So a couple other clicks you got to make, but just like the iHeart app, couple clicks and it's yours. And follow us on Apple and Spotify as well, and all the other platforms. You can always listen to us as a podcast. Have a great day, everybody. Great job, Peter. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Go Rays.